So we all have feelings about GameStop, whether you love it, whether you hate it, or you just simply tolerate it. I have that love-hate relationship myself. I can often find those deals, and there's times that I get screwed over when I go into GameStop. I see tons of fake games. I see games that had mold in them, and when you let some of the employees know, sometimes they're just not really too nice about it. But is that stemming from the entire corporation of GameStop, or is it simply just a certain place that I go into? That customer service that I have at one particular location. Well, what happens when every single GameStop closes? This year, we're already seeing tons of closures. We see it every single year where hundreds of locations shut down. And what does that essentially do? That creates a lot of problems when it comes to closing all of these retail locations. We just immediately think about it. There's less physical options, more digital options, more and more stores that keep on closing. You're taking some of those physical games out of circulation. I know tons of people that simply go to GameStop out of convenience. They need money, they need something, they take the games there, and they're willing to get pennies on the dollar for their trade-ins. A lot of people mention that when it comes to bigger YouTubers who essentially take in less trading credits, but they keep going back to those people. Whether, they think they're getting ripped off or we all think that they're getting ripped off, they still go out of convenience. The same thing with the way that the video games are shifting. Essentially physical, you're getting more for your money. Digital really isn't even yours anyway, and you can't resell it. So there's a whole debate with all of that. But when you get rid of these locations, it takes away more physical locations where we could buy more physical games. Not all areas have mom and pop stores. Not all areas, have that luxury that a lot of us do. I know my particular locations, they don't have many games at Walmart, and Target simply stopped carrying a lot of physical games when it comes to Xbox. So where else do you go if you don't have a video game store that's reputable with good deals and other than online? You go to GameStop. Not all parents are familiar with buying games online or searching for those physical retailers. Literally GameStop. Games are in the name, and that's what a lot of people feel comfortable going out and doing. Now I get it, GameStop has had their faults over the years, but at least they're trying. They brought back GameStop Retro, even though it's something that they've been doing for quite so many years now. They just made it more of like an advertising effect. And when I first went there, I got a fake Pokemon game. But then later, they tried to correct that and get more training. They got more tools, and they actually tried. Certain locations are going to have some people that are just bad, like the ones where I tried to buy a game, and the employee said I couldn't buy it, and she decided to buy it because she realized how great of a deal it was. Then I saw that it was up for sale in the area, so I'm curious if she did that just to sell it. But we all have those experiences. You keep retro gaming in the mix. Maybe they needed to price out complete in-box games. Keep new games sealed. That always tends to be a thing. Where you go in there to pick up their last copy. It's the floor opened copy. It's not really new anymore because it was opened up. We all had issues with that as well. But they do have great sales on their games. I have found countless collector's editions on sale, on clearance, and even taking a part of their collector's editions. Even clearance items. Buy so many, get so many free. You really can't beat that. And sometimes I just get lucky when it comes to that. Gaming collectibles and even Pokemon cards, they are trying to keep up with the times, but simply a lot of retailers just can't hang. If you look at Toys R Us, they disappeared, they're kind of coming back. And then if you look at, Radio Shack, and you look at Blockbuster, and you look at all of these like prime examples of things, and simply all these stores that are just going out when Circuit City was like a big thing. So is GameStop going to go into that particular extreme of where they're completely gone? Or are we just going to continue to see less and less locations, make it a little bit more challenging for people to find a more localized GameStop. I know that quite a few around me have closed down over the years, and just more and more continue to close, but I'm lucky where I still have quite a few in close proximity, so I will still get to take advantage of the deals when they do have them. Now, of course, it definitely is unfortunate because of the employees. They did not get much warning at all. A lot of them lost their jobs, and a lot of them will continue to lose jobs. And that's just crazy when you look at that sense of how, you know, they're going to lose their jobs over this, and there really wasn't much of a heads up when it comes to this. But that's how a lot of big corporations do. They don't look out for the little person. It's all about the top, you know, trying to make those big cuts so that they can get money when it comes to the new fiscal year and everything when it comes to that. But I just think about a lot of the good times that I did have at GameStop. Back when they used to have tournaments. When I was in college, they had tournaments at my local GameStop. They even had all of those midnight releases. I remember going there and getting like the Wii U, getting the Nintendo Switch, and just getting a lot of games back in the day. The Call of Duties and the different Mario games. They would always have some sort of event going on at GameStop, and it felt like a fun experience. So you really can't discredit all of that when it comes to, you know, GameStop. What will some people do now when it comes to this stuff? Are they going to be able to pre-order games? Are they going to be able to pick up games right away when they want them? Or are people just simply going to switch over to digital for the convenience? When you have less physical locations, you start to shift over into that digital land. Something more convenient. People aren't going to drive, you know, more than 30 minutes away if there aren't any GameStops or game stores or anything in their local area. They're just going to buy the items online, whether they pay more, whether they get a deal, whether they just don't care, they want the item. They're not going to go completely out of their way. And I mean, I get it. There are so many locations, but others would argue that there are not enough. I've seen some where they're literally at the mall and then in the surrounding shopping centers outside of the mall. And I could see where they would close one versus the other. And then I've seen some where they're technically in a different zip code, but they're less than 5 minutes apart. So I do understand that when it comes to like overcrowding and just placing them in certain areas where people might kind of localize into one rather than the other. But there are some people that are out in like the middle of nowhere, and maybe GameStop was their only option. Maybe that was the only place that they actually had. So I'm definitely curious to see where this takes things going forward. What if GameStop closes completely? What if it closes most stores? And what if it goes online? What if we had an online-only GameStop? You know, those are just things to think about. Are you really going to get games shipped out to you in the condition that you want or that you prefer? What if you ordered a new game and it came unsealed? What if you ordered a game hoping it was complete in box and you didn't even get it? That tends to be a thing that happens now. But I think that we need more awareness. We need more locations for the casual gamer, and we need to keep the supply and demand level so that games just don't continue to spike. And I'm really curious what you guys think about this. There's just so much buzz when it comes to GameStop. I'm always out there finding deals or, you know, talking about some of my experiences that I've had at my local GameStops, and just trying to see how they change and shift as we go. But I'm really curious what you guys think about this situation, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about GameStop in general. So just let me know in the comments down below, and of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos, and stay tuned for more.